I'm Mark Stewart, and I try to be a civic unifier. And here, though it's tough, we're not very far apart. It is the abortion issue, and I think there is unity, even though, at first glance, this video might look too strident to possibly unite. But I'm an educator, and with more facts, I think we get broad consensus. Many of us who were once pro-choice have armed ourselves with facts. We know, though, the political reality that for 2 generations, many people have gone without facts, not even been exposed to the possibility that ending the life of a baby in utero is killing. It violates the do unto others principle. It violates just as egregiously, maybe even more so, what we wouldn't want done to baby seals, baby eaglets, baby puppies. Unlike many Northeast Republicans who do not desire to alter any state laws, I unabashedly do. Our laws have legalized infanticide for over 40 years. And governments are formed for mutual protection. There's nothing more aberrant than a government that doesn't protect innocent babies whose only status is that they are still inside a womb rather than outside. So any law that might be made is best made and enforced when there's a strong majority, one that's educated on the issue to back it up. So I believe in arguing, and an overturn of Roe v. Wade gives us a higher reality to making effective arguments. Well, here is a position that you could expect of me, and along the way, hopefully effective arguments, pretty much facts, and you do the logic. Irrespective of a federal decision, as a state legislator in Connecticut, you will have me as a fervent arguer for, number 1, sanctuary spots, 6 cities or towns where the unlimited right to end a pregnancy in its first trimester is assured for a decade. First trimester is all, though. Okay, beyond 13 weeks, there's no going back. A pregnant woman is choosing then to do a beautiful thing by then carrying a baby for herself, giving life to her family or another family via adoption. This would adhere to the dicta in Roe v. Wade. Now, I'm going to continue to protect the women themselves from undue harassment. And with that, it's inviolable perimeters around these 6 cities abortion clinics that are still there, where politicking within 500 feet of a clinic, attempts to persuade, must end. Okay, it would be considered criminal harassment at that point, with arrests and prosecutions for interfering with the choice of pregnant women or their care providers. Pro-life advocates have many weeks to educate and convince the would-be mother to go to term. But if in the final 2 minutes they have not made that convincing enough argument, please leave her alone. It's offensive to her and to the business to be interfering with her decision. But people close to the woman who is about to have an abortion need to be notified. At minimum, 5 other adults. If she's under 21, that needs to include 2 who are immediate family members. So if 5 adults over several weeks are not persuasive, I don't think any strangers in the final 2-minute walk 500 feet within a clinic are going to be persuasive. Don't even try anew at that point. Now with this, here is part 3. That there be speedy provision for women who choose to give their baby up for adoption. Right now, there's state entanglement that slows things down. So if there's any agency oversight at all, it is provided within 2 weeks of an application. Ample provision, that's point 4. Ample funds for women who choose to give their baby up for adoption. That's at least $50,000 in 2020 dollars, inflation adjusted. Plus full health and maternity and food benefits, good nutrition costs, paid for. Paid for. Now, this would come privately from escrowed money by the adopting couple. And if there's any hint of a possible deficit, not enough money to pay for women in the state giving babies up for adoption, then it has to be from a public fund that pro-life activists must assure is fully available and will meet a 15% increase the next year. If that's not available, we alter the regime. Number 5, no stigmatizing of women who undergo an abortion in any of these 6 towns. It should be considered then a stigmatizing harassment or a privacy violation to negatively portray a woman who has undergone an abortion. And now 6, unless there's a supermajority, and by that I'd say 80% or more in a city that disprove in a well-publicized referendum these 6 places of refuge for will be there for the decade ending December 2031. Maybe another 10-year period comes up for referendum, maybe with a lot more education, and maybe some of these cities say, let's hold the referendum. If that 80% come around to being the pro-life that education might provide, then we might be down to 5 or 4 or 3 cities. Unless otherwise noted by the legislature, I would propose Waterbury, Hartford, Willington, Bridgeport, New Haven, New London. Okay, it's 6 spaced well enough and close enough. I mean, within 40 minutes drive of anyone in the state. Okay, so clinics never going to be far away. Don't give the argument that, oh, access is going to be impeded if you change the regime now. No, you just have to get a friend to take you there. I do like supermajorities in most cases because 51% is not enough to make a good moral command. And when it is a bare 51% to 49% majority, things swing in the balance for far too long. The next decade is filled with, well, let's get a few more votes our way to overturn things. It's got to be strong. Once again, I'm in favor of strongly educating so there can be a consensus. But until that happens, we still keep 6 cities of refuge. Yes, it's a biblical reference, and that's intentional. That's what places where killing was actually allowed to go unavenged. 7, adopting families are to show their community or the state agency the willingness and financial ability to provide for their adopted child until age 16, and the willingness to treat the adopted child as fulsomely as they would a non-adopted child. Now, I think that is just inherent in any adopting family. It's the far left that feels otherwise. Oh, the adoptions are not treated well enough. It's not true. This would codify that it can't get true here. And finally, the many nuances of prenatal care not addressed here are to be worked out ideally outside of state auspices because government interference messes things up. But if there's an implacable dispute, then state legislation would be involved. All right, there's my take 2021. I am Mark Stewart. I know it doesn't satisfy everyone, but hopefully we get a lot closer.